Now let's talk about next. In order to create leverage, right? In order to create these 4 leverage points that we talk about, one of the things that we need to do is we need to buy back some of your time. And I think this is a really, really important thing. I think the second essential skill set into growing and getting out of the tools and building a business, not a job, is prioritization. So the framework that I heard, I don't even know who came up with it, but I heard it a long time ago and I've been using it for years. The framework goes like this: do, delegate, automate, and eliminate. Okay, with those 4 things, every task that gets thrown at me, from a client request to a text message to something in an email to something a team member wants, something a potential customer wants, doesn't matter. I'm going to apply this framework, right? So let's talk about it. Do. So what this means is these are the tasks that I am going to accept. These are the tasks that require me to move the needle. They are deep thoughts. They have something to do with something that I cannot yet have any member of my team do. And depending on the size of your team, if you just hired your first assistant, that's almost everything, right? If you've got a team of 10, 20, 30 people, you probably are still leading the vision, probably leading departments, still checking in. If you're a huge company where there's thousands and tens of thousands of employees, this might just be high level strategic decisions, right? Maybe mergers and acquisitions or something, right? But for most of us mere mortals, where I'm at in my company is I have a couple things that I choose to do because I like doing them. But for the most part, I lead our sales, I lead our company vision, I lead the direction of our product. I don't actually do many things with the product. I'm not in the tools, so to speak, but I lead it and I lead our teams. I also kind of do training and stuff like that too within. So basically, content, lots and lots of content for me. I work on SOPs, product SOPs that then my team uses. I work on training and retraining those SOPs. I also work on conversations with clients and potential clients. So basically, I'm creating multiple forms of content, right? Now, depending on where you are, it could be different. But the point here is you should only accept do when the other ones that I'm about to go through don't apply. Do is the last thing. You want to try to do the next 3 first. So next one up is delegate. So, when you're hiring your first 1 to 5 employees, mostly this is probably going to be job stuff. It's getting out of the tools. It's painting the walls. It's laying the foundations. It's hanging the shingles, whatever it is that you do. That work is the first thing you're going to be delegating, right? You're probably still going to be doing sales and bids and stuff like that. But you need to delegate. And we already talked about SOPs and that part go along with the hiring, right? But you need to have a team in place. Hire first. Your first hire should be mainly for fulfillment, allowing you to get off the tools. Your first few people might be that, right? You potentially could have an office admin in there, right? Maybe it's an employee or 2 for the tools, maybe an office admin to help filter emails and calls to only letting you do the most important ones. That's a form of delegation. Hiring an office admin to answer the phone and only let the ones through to you, they are filtering and only letting the ones that do where it requires you is being filtered by the delegate that's answering all the other phone calls, answering all the other emails. You should have someone in your company that helps do that. That way you don't have to answer every call that could be answered by somebody else with some simple SOPs or like phone scripts of how to answer that phone, right? So a couple tips here: hire slow, fire fast. Take your time in hiring. A lot of times people are just like, oh, I know this guy, he does a thing, let me just hire him. And then they get frustrated that it doesn't work out. Take your time, get to know the person, have a few interviews, go out to lunch with them. I don't care how it is, what your process looks like. There's a bunch of ways, but it should not just be, oh, my uncle's sister does this, so let's just bring her on. That's not enough. Have a hiring process, and it should be multiple steps, and it should be universal for anybody, right? I would avoid hiring relatives and would avoid hiring friends. You got a standard, you got SOPs, or at least you're going to make SOPs hopefully after this. And employees are going to come on and they're going to do that thing. If they're friends or family, they may think they can get away with things. It's not really good to hire friends and family, especially early on, right? Especially early on. Later on down the line, if you've got a really established thing and you got, a niece or nephew or cousin or something that wants to come on board and you got a system you can put them into and team members that are going to be held peer accountable to, might be a little bit better. But your first one or two employees definitely, I don't think, should be employees. But hire slow with a process. And if they aren't working out, I say fire fast. Now I'm going to say that with a disclaimer. The hire slow, fire fast is an idea where we take our time to make sure that we hire the right person. And if they are bad at their job, we let them go. But we need to make sure that we're not hiring them for things that are our fault. If someone fails at doing a job and they followed your SOP and they actually followed it and it came out wrong, that's your fault, not theirs. We also need to allow for times for training. Even if your SOP for doing the thing was perfect and someone comes on, they may have had an old way, that some old habits and things that need to break themselves up. So give them some flexibility. But if you have given them things to do and they've shown that they're the type of person that's going to show up late, they're going to be rude, they don't care about our SOPs, they're just, I'm just going to do it my way. In that type of thing, I'd fire them. I'd fire fast, right? That's me. So, but just make sure that you have training in place, right? Every company is going to make mistakes. It doesn't matter what you are. My company makes mistakes. I make mistakes. Every team member on my team makes mistakes. And I'm not going around firing people for individual mistakes, but I will fire people for deceptive actions, for being unethical, for being outright lazy, for outright being rude to clients or other team members or to me. There's things that are going to be, you have to figure out exactly what that is for you. Figure out that line in the sand and let them know what it is. Communicate it again through SOPs. And if they cross that, fire fast. Okay. Next up. So we got do, we talked about do, and we talked about delegate. Well, let's talk about next up is eliminate. Most of the time, the tasks that we put on our task list are stupid. I don't care if you're using a checklist on your phone or you write things down on pen and paper, you have Post-it notes. Anecdotal story. I had a boss in the military that used to write Post-it notes on everything, and you'd go into his office and it'd be 100 Post-it notes everywhere. It was crazy. It was really funny. But anyways, it doesn't matter what you do with how you keep track of your task. The fact is I could probably look at your task right now, your task list right now, the things that you tell me you need to do, and I would guarantee you there's double-digit percentage of those things, 10% or more, maybe even up to 50, that do not need to be on anyone's task list. They don't need to be delegated to the next person. They just aren't that important. There's sometimes these little things like, oh man, I really got to stop everything I'm doing and update this one photo on my website because it's really going to make or break the difference. It's probably not. It's probably not going to do it. The things that we need to think about are if everything in business is really around creating customers and then doing the job, right? What is it that you can do to make getting customers better, easier, cheaper? What is it that you can do for the fulfillment side of things that's better, easier, cheaper, right? That's where you need to spend your time. And if the tasks that are on your things don't do that, and it's not for you, so you're not going to do it, it can't be delegated because there's not enough time, it's not enough priority, then chances are if you're not willing to do it, and it's not something that you should be doing, and it's not something that your employees should be doing, there's a very, very good likelihood that it shouldn't be done at all. So take a hard, realistic look at your task management and be ruthless with where you spend your time and create some sort of baseline for how to vet out tasks. We have an idea board where we put a bunch of tasks in and it's in this one spot, but it doesn't get moved to like in queue or in progress or really being thought about until we've had a chance to vet them. I can tell you that every week I write down tasks and I don't schedule them right away because I know that I'm going to go back through and relook at them. And half the time I go back and delete those because I know that they're not urgent, they're not important, and they don't move the needle in my business. So take a hard look at that and see if there's things that you can eliminate. Next up would be automate, right? And we've talked about this before with software and tools and content. What can you automate? So the process here for creating this prioritization is do, delegate, eliminate, and automate. So if it's not for me to do, it's not delegatable, and it's not something that can be eliminated, we want to say, can we automate it, right? Anything that is repetitive should be up for queue for automation. Anything from like a monthly marketing report to a welcome message after you fill out a contact form from your website, maybe notifying your lead crew person that a job just closed and attaching the invoice. These are things that can be automated. And again, favorite tool here is to use DripJobs CRM to get that in queue. There's so many automatable things in that platform. But there's some other tools like appointment booking software. Like I use a tool called Calendly. It allows me to book meetings in a fraction of the time of multiple calls and phone calls and text messages and emails back and forth. I just have a link I send people. They click the link, they book a calendar. I keep my calendar accurate, but they can book a calendar anytime. I don't need to have 20 communications back and forth. Are you free at 2 on Tuesday? Oh, no, I'm not then. How about Thursday at 1? Nope, not then. How about Wednesday at 5? I don't have time for that. I just don't. It's a waste of my time and frankly yours as well. There are tools for like $10 a month where you can create appointment systems and you can just share the link with people and they can book their time on your calendar. And all you have to do is keep a relatively accurate calendar and you're good to go. What about repetitive admin tasks like automated invoicing? When I bring on a new client, I have to create the first invoice, or someone on my team will create the first invoice, right? Do you think that I'm going to remember all of my clients to create an invoice I remember my clients, but am I going to remember all of my clients' invoices every month? No, I'm not going to. So using QuickBooks, which is a common small to medium business software, I can create recurring invoices. And so I bring a client for X dollars a month, and the next month invoice automatically sends. I don't do it. No one on my team does it. It's part of our process, part of our SOPs. When we bring on a client, there's an actual checklist. We have an SOP for bringing on a new client. They have to sign an agreement, pay an invoice, schedule a call. Like there's some things that have to happen. And one of those minutia there is creating a recurring invoice because I don't want to spend another minute on that task. It's dumb to, right? So for anybody that has like repeat business or just get it automated, right? What about automated follow-ups, right? You can have, not all follow-ups should be automated. Caveat here, right? You need to have personal touches. I talk to my clients on a regular basis, but some of our communications are automated. The ones that can be, schedule request, maybe a job report, things like that. Whatever you can, create as many follow-ups as you can. Maybe your jobs, you always do the same kind of job, right? Maybe you do exterior painting and it's always a 5-day process in your area with whatever it is that you do. And you know that day one we do X and day two we do Y, so on and so forth. Well, you could have a follow-up sequence that sends a text message at 8 every morning, say, hey, we're on the way to your property and here's what we got in queue today. Now, if it's the same type of job every time, you could do that. If it's not, maybe you have some presets or whatever. But the point here is to think about what is repetitive. What is a routine admin task that has to be done? Finance things, communication things, appointment requests that can be done. Lead nurturing is a huge one. So between tools like your CRM and Zapier and a calendar system like Calendly, your accounting software, there are tons of admin tasks that you can automate. And anytime I have a task that comes to my plate that repeats over and over and over again, I immediately try to find a way to automate it. I'm not lazy, but I'm really lazy when it comes to doing the same thing over and over again. I don't like to do that. If it's something that's not creative and problem solving, that's unique, I don't want to do it. I want to create a system to automate it, or I'm going to delegate it, or I'm just going to completely eliminate it. And that's me. So do, delegate, eliminate, automate.
Hey, if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. If you're looking for help growing your contracting business, I invite you to join my free community. In there, we go live with amazing trainings, share resources and downloads, plus you get free help from me and from peers. That link is down below to join, and we'll see you in the next video.